You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's Wife, The Markles, Part 2. Hello, welcome back to my analysis of the interview that Thomas Markle Senior, Thomas Markle Junior and Samantha Markle recently undertook with the Australian news channel, Channel 7. Getting straight back into the action, they then addressed the point that Harry's wife said that she didn't have any siblings, something, of course, that we are well aware of and formed the basis of a lawsuit from Samantha Markle. Both Samantha and Thomas Jr. make it very clear that it was evident that she had siblings, and Samantha Markle tells us about how the fact that she referred to her as Little Sis. Thomas Jr. explained that when she said in the Oprah Winfrey interview that she didn't have any siblings, his reaction was, there's another lie. And his response clearly demonstrates that he's used to his half-sibling telling those porky pies, which, of course, we have all come to know and recognise through the repeated behaviours that she has exhibited. Sam explained that when she said, I lost my father, she didn't lose her father, she iced our father, and there's a very big difference in that regard. The interviewer poses the question, why would she make up stories? To which Sam says she had to inflate herself to impress the royals rather than admit that she'd worked hard and that our family had helped her, or our father had helped her, and made numerous sacrifices. Instead, she engaged in self-glorification, and that she existed in a vacuum, unaffected by the endeavours of her father. This, of course, is the deluded world of Harry's wife's narcissism once again rearing its head, whereby she believes that she's achieved everything herself. Notice how often she says, I'm a strong, independent feminist. Yet her behaviour shows to the contrary, repeatedly leeching off men, her father, Trevor Engelson, Corey the chef, Prince Harry, that she's only made her way through life by using people. We can see that she has no talent whatsoever, something I've repeatedly highlighted, and that her only talent really is through her narcissism and making use of people to climb a greasy pole in terms of getting to the residual benefits of money, networks, fame, etc., which all assist with the assertion of control and the drawing of fuel. The interviewer explains that the Markle family have then shared treasured videos showing attendance at the ballpark, weekends at the lake. Interestingly, when it shows that particular footage, Harry's wife turns to the camera and snaps, "What?" It shows her haughty behaviours were present at an early age. It shows that she attended ballet lessons. It talks about the sets that her father had made for the school plays that he recorded in videos. Clearly, he did a lot in terms of trying to help and to give her everything that he could. The programme then moves on to Spare, providing various excerpts from it, and Harry's disclosures about Tom Senior. Sam explains that the press made her father seem like some complete deadbeat dad, and she notes that Harry's wife did not defend him. She didn't turn around and say, "Hey, don't say that out about my dad after everything he's done for me." Sam notes very clearly that Harry's wife had an opportunity to set matters straight, but she failed to do so. This, of course, is unsurprising. Harry's wife will only defend somebody if it suits her purposes. In other words, she has no emotional empathy and is guided by her narcissism for the purpose of only supporting someone or defending them if she gets something out of it. Notwithstanding the considerable investment that Thomas Markle Senior made in his daughter's life, she doesn't recognise that. It counts for nothing. She discounts all of that because her narcissism tells her that she deserved all of that, if she even remembers it, and that it doesn't count for anything because of the way that he has behaved towards her. Essentially, her narcissism writes it off. It also is the fact that she's not going to defend him because, 1, he's painted black, 2, it would be too much effort, and 3, what would she get from it? Of course, some people would say, well, it would demonstrate that you're a kind person. But of course, she already believes that she is without having to do such things. And her narcissism basically deems he's not appropriate to be rescued in that way. Instead, focus on a rescue chicken instead. Thomas Senior explains that he feels that he shoulders some of the blame, and they then move on to the letter that Harry's wife wrote to Thomas Markle Senior, which turned up in part of which, at least in the Daily Mail. Thomas Senior explains that the letter was horrible and unpleasant. He explains that the reason that he shared it was because it had already been shared with People.com and 6 other people, and he felt that he needed to get his side of the story across. Threat to control, him nullifying that threat to control. He explains that he puts out part of it, but other parts of the letter are so hateful and so cruel that he wouldn't put it out. Of course, the content of this letter was written by Harry's wife as a malign hoover to assert control over her father by insulting him, belittling him, invalidating him. Thomas also says that he didn't put the letter out in order to protect her, so she wouldn't be seen as being bad, because of course the content of the letter was such that it would cause people to see her in an even worse light. He explained that he has the letter still, and he's been offered a lot of money for it, but he said that he'll burn it before he sells it. The interviewer asks, "Did she give a return address for you to reply to?" And he said no, it was a kiss-off. This, of course, is typical behaviour of a narcissist. In effect, the last word. Watch my video, Why the Narcissist Must Always Have the Last Word. So she's allowed to attack her father, but he's not allowed to respond to it. Indeed, when he did try to respond to it by sharing the content of it, she then took legal action against the Daily Mail. He then goes on to state that he believes that Harry should play the peacemaker and put us back together. Of course, Mr. Markle Senior doesn't recognise how Harry has become complicit in all of this because of his codependency towards Harry's wife and the fog of his emotional thinking. He fails to realise just how much he has been sucked in. He fails to recognise that Harry is in the awful shared fantasy, that he doesn't understand what's going on. He also doesn't appreciate the fact that Harry's wife will have smeared her father to Harry to such an extent that Harry simply takes her side in all of this, believes that her father is an awful man, that her half-siblings are terrible people, that he's swallowed that Kool-Aid, and therefore there's no motivation for Harry to try and act as peacemaker, because he believes that his wife has been hard done to. That's who he loves, and that's who he wants to defend. So unfortunately for Mr. Markle Senior, he labours under a misapprehension of thinking that Harry's going to do anything at all that would be of assistance to him. Join me in part 3, where we find the Markles barbecuing and some interesting insights that come from Samantha Markle. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.